The third and final command that the author gives us in this statement, in these verses, is keep your eyes on Jesus. When you're walking in the store, where are your eyes? They're behind you, right? You just walk through the store with, whoa, yeah, they're not behind you. They're not on your shoelaces, even though some of you may have interesting shoelaces. But they are in front of you. You're walking and you're looking ahead. When we're walking in our Christian faith, God, Jesus, is supposed to be leading us onward. And so we should be looking at Him. We all learned when we were kids that not to, look at the feet, or at least I was as a kid, because oftentimes I'd look at my feet when I was walking. I had a couple of stories where I hadn't quite learned this. One was this Friday in the cafeteria. I was talking with one of my friends, and we were just kind of having a short conversation before I went back to my table to have lunch, and because he was going somewhere else. And I said, well, okay, man, I'll see you later. And I'm walking backwards, finishing up what I want to say, and I turn around, and I run into the trash can. And I was walking backwards, so I wasn't looking where I was going, and I kind of embarrassed myself by tripping over the trash can when I'm a junior in high school in front of the whole cafeteria. And so sometimes, if we're not looking where we're supposed to be looking at our final destination and at Jesus, we get tripped up and embarrass ourselves. Another time this happened, we may not just get tripped up or embarrass ourselves, but we may actually get hurt. One time I was in 3rd grade, and I was so excited because I was finally getting to go to Awana, which was a Bible memorization program for kids. And I had been going to Awana, but I was finally in the upper level. I was finally in the last with the big kids, 3rd, 4th, and 5th grade, and 6th grade. But I was with the big kids, and I was so excited. I was talking to my dad, and I was just like exuberant and really excited. And I was talking with him under the overhang of the church. All the other kids were usually playing in the front yard, so I'm talking with him. They all get loaded up in the van because we go to a different church to do this. We drive probably about 2 or 3 minutes to the other church to be able to participate in their Awana program. And they're all loaded up, waiting, and so my mom calls me. So again, just like I did this past, when I tripped on the trash can, Friday, I start backing up and finish my conversation, turn around and start running. I get 2 steps. I don't remember if I fall down. I don't think I fell down, but I think I was holding my head and walked into the lobby of the church, and somebody had to get an ice pack. I pull my hand down, and I'm bleeding. What had happened is when I turned around and ran, I had run smack dab into the corner of a brick pillar. About this wide and that deep. It holds the overhang up. So I run right into it. I had to get 5 stitches, to get that fixed. Spiritually, we need to keep our eyes ahead of us. We need to keep our eyes at our destination. Our prize is forward. Jesus is ahead of us and leading us on. We're supposed to be followers of Jesus, right? Follower has the root word of follow. And I looked up follow in the dictionary. Usually when we think of follow, we think to literally go behind but there are several definitions of follow. These are 4 of the definitions of follow. 1, to accept as a guide or leader, accept the authority or give allegiance to. 2, to conform to comply with, or to obey. 3, to imitate or to copy. To use an as an example. 4, to go after, which is usually what we think of. That necessarily means that a follower means that that's someone who does those things. So being a follower of Jesus means that we're supposed to do those things to Jesus. We're supposed to accept him as a guide or a leader and give allegiance to him. We're supposed to conform to his ways. We're supposed to comply with. We're supposed to obey him. We're supposed to imitate him and copy him and use him as an example, as a pattern to our lives. And Paul even says this in Ephesians 5:1. He talks about being imitators of God. And we also need to follow him and use the direction he has for our lives. When we keep our eyes, we need to keep our eyes on Jesus, because how can we do these things if we're not paying attention to what he's doing? How can we imitate him if we don't see what he's doing, if we don't know what he does? So we have to keep our eyes on him, to watch him in case he turns, in the example of following him and running. We need to not be looking down behind us, to the left or to the right. Look to the left or to the right. But we need to be looking at him. Sometimes even, people walk around and if they're consumed in something else, such as a cell phone, they may not hear what other people are saying, because sometimes, at least with me, when I'm doing something, I sometimes tune out my mom because I'm on whatever. And so we need to, because if we can't hear him either, then we can't follow his will, because sometimes to obey him, we have to hear what he's saying. And if we don't watch him and pay attention to him, we may not get up to my destination. I didn't get to my destination in the story where I hit my head, because I had to take a side trip to the ER. So I didn't get to a run, which is where I was so excited to go. It's the same way with us. If we don't pay attention to Jesus, where we're going, we may not get there. I'll ask you, when you're walking with Jesus, where are your eyes spiritually? The author has given us 3 commands. He's given us a charge. We're supposed to throw off sin first. We're supposed to run with perseverance. And we're supposed to fix our eyes on Jesus. I would say that the most important of these is to fix our eyes on Jesus. Because if we have our eyes on Jesus, we're going to lose sight of other things, such as the sin that so easily entangles, or the things that hinder us. We may, if we fix our eyes on Jesus, we will probably not struggle with the sin, the first charge. And we also won't have as hard of a time persevering through the end, because we're looking at Jesus. Because we're focused on him, and it doesn't matter whether we live or die. Reminds me of a song. Turn your eyes upon Jesus. Let's sing the chorus real quick. Turn
your eyes upon Jesus. Look full in his wonderful face, and the things of earth will grow strangely dim in the light of his glory and grace.
That's what the author of the song is trying to say, is that when we are focused on Jesus, the things around, the things of the world, aren't going to matter as much. So, I would charge you to find one way focus on Jesus this week. Whether it's spending extra time with Jesus or whatever. But find some way to focus on Him and readjust your focus. Because sometimes you get caught up in life's hustle and bustle. I know this, I'm in 3 AP classes. But we get caught up in life's hustle and bustle and we forget our time with God. And so then our focus, you get distracted. Oh, I have a paper due tomorrow. Oh, I need to do that study for that chemistry exam tomorrow. Oh, I have that homework due tomorrow. But our eyes are not supposed to be on these things. Our eyes are supposed to be on Jesus. Are you really looking at Jesus? Are you looking at some other trivial thing? Because I can tell you, I've been pretty focused on school this this year, but in 10 years, that's not really going to matter. We need to focus on Jesus. Lord, come to you right now and we ask for your help. We need you to help us to focus on you. Show us if there be any clean way in us, as the psalmist says, and allow us to see where our focus is. Because if we can't see where our focus is, then we can't focus on you. Show us how we can be more fully devoted to you than we ever have before. Shape us into being more like you. In Jesus' name, amen. The altars are open if you want to come to the altar. As usual, the pew if you want to pray alone, or the altar if you want to pray with someone. But I really think what we're supposed to do is to adjust our focus. And if you need to do that by praying, or if you need to do that by changing your life, some things in your life, but all I know is that the author of Hebrews does say we're supposed to focus on Jesus.